What's up, you guys? This is Luka here, and today it's another blessed day, guys. And I just wanted to come here and bless you with some knowledge on how to market yourself and how to get good real estate deals. Whether you're doing wholesaling, whether you're doing looking to do fix and flip, or buy and hold, how to get discounted properties so that if you whatever you do decide to do with it, whether you're gonna wholesale them, fix them, you still have a good profit margins. So today we're gonna start with how to just market yourself out there so that you can position yourself to start making money. Okay, and to market yourself, I actually mentioned in my previous video of how I made my first how I got my first real estate deal, wholesale deal. I've never went through how we really got our first fix and flip deal. Fix and flip, real, real estate wholesaling is called quick flips in some wordings, and then there is a fix and flip. So those require two different way of underwriting those deals. So today we're just gonna talk about first how to market, and then maybe we can go into the part where we can actually go through the underwriting the deal itself to make sure that it's a good deal, to make sure that you're selling a good deal to an investor if you're a wholesaler, and also to make sure that you're buying a good deal if you are an investor who's going to be fixing the property and then selling the property. So let's go into marketing. So you saw my video and you got super excited, and or you've met me at an event, because I get a lot of questions on how do I get my first deal, how do I get my first wholesale deal, or how do I get my first fix and flip deal. And so we're going to go through this real quick so that I can teach you how to get your deals, whether you have a lot of money or you don't have any money to get started in real estate. I got started in real estate with almost zero money, and I'm going to show you a little bit of the marketing that I did. Mine was through a bandit sign. And so I always tell everybody that if you're going to get in this game, you really have to be all in, because it's going to take you resilience, it's going to take consistency, it's going to take a lot of sacrifices for you to get your first deal. But whatever channels that I'm going to show you now, just make sure that you're ready to actually take action for the next 60 to 90 days or even more to get your first deal. Okay? And so the very first way that I'm going to show people how to market is the free way. Actually, I'm going to go through the free ways first, because a lot of you are like me. When you're getting started now, you're saying that, John, I don't have any money, but how do I get started? And then there's some of you that have like $50,000, $20,000, or $10,000 that's sitting in your account, and you said, I have some money and I want to go get started and I want to invest this money. So let's get into the marketing part. So the very free way, the first free way that I always tell people when they don't have any money getting started in real estate is, I said, start marketing. And the first way to market yourself is to make sure that if you don't have any money but you have some gas money, I would say put some gas money and start doing something called driving for dollar. So this is marketing, right? Excuse my handwriting. Marketing. So the first thing is, we're talking about free ways of marketing. So I always recommend that if you don't have money, start something called driving for dollar. Some people call it driving for deals, right? D for D. Free way of marketing. Another free way of marketing is you can actually talk to wholesalers, all right? Wholesalers. I forgot a doctor's handwriting, so bear with me. So you're probably thinking to yourself, okay, I'm trying to be a wholesaler, but how can I now be talking to other wholesalers? Well, there are deals that other wholesalers may have, and you can be like a bird dog where you come in, you help them you help them sell the deal. Maybe you have an investor friend. So let's say they are wholesaling the property for, let's say, 125, and you come in there and you put an extra $5,000 on top of the deal. We're gonna go into underwriting soon. So you just made $5,000. So the original wholesaler, let's say the original seller is selling for about selling the property for 115. Okay, and then another wholesaler is reselling the property for, let's say, for example, 120. Okay, so the first wholesaler is making $5,000. Now you who is looking to get into the game for free, you happen to have a buyer. Now with the buyer that you have, now you can go ahead and resell the property for extra 5K. That's if it's still a deal, okay? So talk to wholesalers, talk to realtors. One of my good ways. So talk to realtors. Realtors, especially investor-friendly realtors, can bring you good deals. My realtor that I'm working with right now, because I'm always talking to realtors, what kind of deals do you have? Things that are not listed in the market, off-market deals. So you're looking for discounted properties. And so my realtor recently brought me a deal that came from a wholesaler, right? She had a connection with a wholesaler that I didn't know about. And so she brought me to a wholesaler, and I'm gonna go through the underwriting the deal here soon. And so I ended up buying the deal from a wholesaler, but my realtor brought it to me. That's crazy, right? And so realtors are powerful tools to actually be able to get free deals. These are actually free marketing. The only thing you're doing here is you're putting gas if you're doing the driving for dollar part. The other part here is one of my favorite. A lot of people don't think that this method is effective, but it is very effective because that's how I actually got my very first, one of the ways how I got my very first deal. I talk a lot about my first deal, which was like $15,000. And if you haven't watched that video, please go to how I got my first deal and made $15,000. And so this is a bandit sign. All right, this is a bandit sign. Some areas, in some cities, some towns, some states, bandit signs sometimes are illegal, depending on what cities you're in. Some cities, when you put bandit signs out, they require you to take it down. And some cities are okay with it. Some people have no problem, and some people have a lot of problems with it. So just be careful in which markets you're in. But so when I got started, I didn't have money. So I watched my mentor went through the same marketing structures. Maybe not exactly the same, but kind of the same. But I heard about driving for dollar, which was free. All I had to do was put gas in my car and drive around maybe 2 hours a day consistently, and for 90 days until I get my first deal. And so this was the second one. So I chose these two methods when I was getting started because they were almost the cheapest, but I didn't know too much realtors and I didn't know too much wholesalers. Okay. So I drove around. Maybe in my fourth month, I was putting up bandit signs. So I got my first deal on the contract. At the very first time, I had another deal that came in through the driving for dollar. So I was doing both. On the weekends, I would put up bandit signs. On the weekdays, I would actually drive for dollar for 2 hours a day. So they both happened to actually go under contract around the same time. This ended up closing first, and that's why I always kind of talk more about this deal that closed first. But so I was basically got this property under contract, made $15,000, and then on top of that, I had another $5,000 deal that came from driving for dollar. It was right in my neighborhood, literally like maybe like 3 minutes away. Okay, and so these are the free ways of how you can actually market. And for people that say, hey, I don't know how to get into real estate, and I don't have any money, they give you so much, you give me so much excuses. But these are all the free ways of how you can actually get your first deal without so much money. Okay. So with the realtors and wholesalers, you're building a lot of relationship with them. And these are, this is like what is called like an outbound, which you're reaching to the sellers, you're reaching to the clients. Same thing with this, you're reaching to the people, but this can be outbound, but also can be inbound now, because when you put benefits out, now people that are motivated are reaching out to you. So you have positioned yourself. So when you have banner signs, you're talking to realtors, you're talking to wholesalers, you're driving for dollar, you're positioning yourself to get deals. Okay. And these deals, especially if you're doing wholesaling in my city, the average is about 10 to 15 to $20,000. So I'd say $15,000 is very average in the state of Maine. In other states could be higher. And so this is, I would say, the very basic and free ways of how you can get your first deal. Now we're gonna go into the one that's a little bit costly for people who say that, you know what, I have some money. For people that say that I have some, I'm gonna erase this. If you haven't taken the notes, you can rewatch this video. For people that say they have money, 10,000, 20,000, 40,000 sitting, and they're looking to get into fixing and flipping, wholesaling, I mean, whatever you're gonna do, I would say you can start with the wholesalers, but you can still do all the things that we just talked about. But if you want to invest more money into the marketing part, okay, you can actually invest money into Google Ads, okay, Google Ads, PPC, and then you can also, these are like, expensive. You're talking about like five to $7,000 to $10,000, depending on your budget, on how much you want to put into marketing. We're talking about, there's another one called PPL. The difference between PPC and PPL is pay-per-click ads. This is for Google, and this one is actually people that have already paid. They already have their systems, and you're paying them leads. You're paying for their leads. Okay. There is things like YouTube channels. So we got this. Actually, this should have been 2. So you got another one here, which is a YouTube ads that you can actually run. My partner actually does a lot of the marketing. Okay. You can do mail. Right? You get a lot of mail in your mailbox every day in your junk time. But do you know that some people are running that? I even bet you that if you have a house, somebody had probably sent you a mail asking you if you would consider a cash offer on your property. And so that's mail. Okay. The other one is you can do magazines. Okay. Excuse my handwriting again. You can do radio. Okay. These are inbound. Okay. When you set yourself up this way to market yourself that you're a home buyer. Earlier we talked about, the free ones. You're setting yourself more like local, but this one, when you set this ones up, some of them are local and some can be actually more. So PPC, you can set it up to be in a particular city. And you can actually have all of this running in a particular city, but you can also have it like in different states. Okay. But these are more powerful. This PPC is almost like a bandit sign, but it's more like the digital part of bandit signs. So when people call you from these kind of leads, the YouTube, the mail, the magazine, all these are expensive inbound leads. But when you get leads from these areas or these marketing channels, just know that it's gonna be something that is hot. What do I mean by hot? It means somebody who's motivated, who's a motivated seller. They're typing into for example, into Google and say, hey, I want to sell my house fast in Maine. So you can put your state there. I want to sell my house fast in whatever city. So your name would pop up. So this is why it's a bit expensive. These are for people that says that I have some money to invest into marketing now. But you could easily also do the thing that I told you earlier. You can get your first deal, second deal, and then jump into this part where you can reinvest those money. Okay. Now we're gonna go into the other part, which is more like which is more of a slower ways to get deals, but it can actually also work great. Okay. And this is like the outbound. We're talking about um, cold calling. Cold calling. Okay. We are talking about we're also talking about things like door knocking. Door knocking, and driving for dollar are almost the same. There are people that are okay with um, going driving around neighborhoods, and then when they see a house that really needs a lot of work, I also recommend that if you're gonna go driving for dollar, I recommend that you get an app that is called Deal Machine. Deal Machine, I don't get paid to say this, but eventually soon I will. But I don't have any promo codes. But Deal Machine, when you go to a property, you can pinpoint where you are, and you can find a property that you are looking for, and you can actually take a photo of that property and send them a postcard. The other thing you can do is go door knock them. Meaning you go, so Deal Machine will tell you where the people live now. And so you can actually go to their house and actually knock on their door. That's why it's called door knocking. And you can knock on their door and ask them if they would ever consider selling their house. Okay. And so this is the marketing channels that would cost money. And the previous ones are the ones that are free. And so a lot of people have so much excuses, like I said. There are people that say, I have a lot of money and I just don't know how to get started. You can contact me and we can talk about this, where my partner can actually go through the things that I'm showing you now. And then we can set up this for you. We can help set up this for you. Or you say you have no money and you want to just stick with the free version of marketing, and that's totally fine. It doesn't matter where you're starting from as long as you're doing something. Okay. Now I want to talk to you about something very, very, very important, and that something is underwriting deals. Yeah, so you're going out there, you're marketing, and you don't know how to determine whether this is a deal or not. And so today I really, really, really want to talk to you guys about how to underwrite your deals, because so many people get into bad deals and so many people don't know how to secure a good deal. All right. I just spoke to you guys about marketing. I spoke to you about how to get your free marketing, and also I spoke to you about how to invest some money into marketing. Now you're investing a lot of money, and you need to know whether this is a deal that you can sell to another investor, or this is a deal that you should pass, or this is a deal that you should fix and flip. So what I'm going to show you now is going to help you a lot. Okay. But I want to kind of talk to you about the door knocking part a little bit, because so many people are afraid of door knocking, but it's just a way for you to say, hey, I've sent you a postcard and I just wanted to follow up. Or if you just go in there for the first time and you want to say, hey, you want to know if they would consider selling. Sometimes some people would never call you your postcard. To give an example, me and my partner Billy had one day when we were first getting started. I think this is like 2019, 2020. So we drove around in Auburn, and we found a property that was really, in a bad condition. And so when we found that property, we sent the guy a postcard, and he actually was receiving our postcards, and he never replied. So one day we decided that, because we were so hungry, and so one day we decided to go door knock him. We decided to go to the house that he lives in, not the house that we saw that was in a bad condition. Remember, with Deal Machine, you can actually go to the house that they own, they live in now, their current address. So we went there, we knocked on the door, and when we knock on the door, the guy actually said, "Are you John?" As soon as I introduced myself that I was coming here to see if he would consider selling his house, he was like, "Are you John?" I'm like, "Oh, how does he know me?" He's like, "Yeah, I've been receiving your postcards about selling my house. If I wanted to sell my house and you were gonna pay me cash." And I said, "Yes, that's me." So I was like thinking whether he was gonna be mad or not, but actually he welcomed us in. So the guy welcomed us in, and we sat down, drank some water, and we went over the property right there. We actually got it locked up. I think we made $19,000 out of, just because we actually got out of our comfort zone and went there. So that's one example. The other example, I have like 3, 4, like so many different examples of people that call me back from postcards that they were receiving. Some called me back a year, some called me back 2 years, and regardless of what, like for example, one of the property in Gray, the guy took 2 years to call us, and we ended up locking up two properties next to each other. He owned them both, and he called me. He said that, "John, you have been sending me these postcards for the last 2 years, and I wasn't ready to sell. Now I'm not ready to sell though." So we ended up locking the property for $55,000 for both properties. Wholesaling one of the properties for, I think it was like $46,000 wholesale fee, and the other one happened to be actually another $50,000. Actually, the other one, we ended up listing the property. We ended up buying it out and releasing the property in the market. So we made about $100,000. Why? Because we decided to go out there, drive for dollar. We never door knocked this guy. Okay, but we could have actually made the money maybe a little bit sooner. So that's the power of door knocking. And I can tell you over and over, Bennett signs the free marketing channels. So to tell you guys what's happening, like all these marketing channels work. It really depends on what you decide to do with this information that I'm showing you now. So now we're gonna get into underwriting deals, and underwriting these deals can either be for a wholesale deal, or it can be for a fix and flip. Okay, I'm gonna show you through this deal that I'm working on right now, like right now. Okay, and this deal is in Bath. Okay, so we have a property in Bath, and this deal came from my realtor, and my realtor got it from a wholesaler. All right, and so the deal, the seller wanted, the original seller wanted like 120. So the wholesaler was trying to wholesale it to me for I think it was like 125. Okay, and I said no way. Why? Because I was focusing on big deals. Okay, I have a philosophy that if I'm gonna spend a lot of money, if I'm gonna spend about $100,000 in repairing a property, that I should also make about $100,000. This is crazy, right? But whatever deals you focus on, you get them. If you focus on getting 40, 30,000 deals, you're putting yourself in a lot of danger, because if the market shifts or anything happens, you could actually fall under. But you make those choices no matter what market you're in. And so let's talk about underwriting this deal. Okay, so this deal, right? My realtor pulled up a CMA. CMA stands for a competitive market analysis. So this deal is in Bath. Okay, it's in Bath. It's gonna probably go on the market within the next 2 weeks. So the property, we got it for, let's just say, when we are doing underwriting a deal, the first thing you need to know is how much is this property worth? So there's something called an ARV, right? And something called a CMA. You need to start learning these terms because you're gonna get a lot of this, okay? An ARV stands for after repair value. An ARV and a CMA is almost the same. The only difference is that you get a CMA from a realtor or the properties that have sold around the area. Okay, just the only difference is the abbreviations. This ARV after repair value, CMA, what properties are sold for in that area. Same thing. Okay, just investors use this more, but now we have actually started using this word more because we work with realtors more. Okay, so you want to get more of a CMA from a realtor that says that this property is worth this much. You can also guess your own, which is by doing your numbers, which is okay too. But this property is worth about 280K. Okay, it's worth about 280K, and the wholesaler wanted to sell it to me for 120. Actually, wanted to sell it for 130. Okay. So you got to do the deals. If you're gonna buy a property for example, if you're gonna buy a property for 130, okay, let's do the numbers together. If you're gonna buy a property for 130K and it's worth about 280, okay, so subtract 280,000 minus 130,000. Okay, so now right away, so this actually looks almost like a deal, right? But it actually really is not, and I'll tell you why. Okay, so you have this, you're taking out 130 for purchase price. This is without repairs. Okay, this is where a lot of people fail. They're not minusing the repairs correctly. They're not taking out the realtor's fees. They're not taking out things that would show up. Okay, so I did the numbers. So 280 minus 130 minus $100,000 in repairs. Where are we now? Now we got a 50K deal, right? So this plus 130 plus 100K repairs, it's gonna end up costing us about 110. Okay, so let's just say when I was underwriting, I was expecting 100K. So 100K. So what you got left without even the realtor's fees and everything, you only got about 50K left. Okay, you only got about 50K left. Now you have to minus about 5 to 6% of a realtor's fee. Let's say so 280K. Let's say you're gonna pay your realtor. Let's say you're gonna pay them 5%. So you have to subtract another what? You have to subtract another $14,000 out of here. Okay. So you're already at about 45K. Is that a deal? Not really, because guess what? You still got insurance. You still got hard money loans. Hard money loans can be 13K, whatever. So, anyways, to cut the story short, what do you think I told that wholesaler? I said not a deal at all for me, right? Because what's our goal? Our goal is to try to make $100K on this deal because it's gonna cost us about $100,000 in repairs. So I tell my realtor, we're just only gonna erase this. I tell my realtor, because we were looking to do this as a fix and flip, okay? So I told my realtor that I needed to make $100,000 on this deal because it's gonna cost me, it's gonna be about close to it's gonna be about 4 to 6 months in repair, which ended up taking us almost only 2 months, but we held it for a little longer, okay? So now we're going back to the numbers. I threw them on. I told my realtors that I can only buy this property for about 200. Well, let me not say that. I told my realtors I would only pay about $70,000 on this deal. Okay, so my realtor went back and relayed it back to the wholesaler, which went back. The wholesaler went back and spoke to the seller. The seller was also very, very, very motivated. Why? Because the property has been abandoned for a long time. And I'm gonna try to show you guys some of the photos about this deal here. But to make the story short, that the homeowner was really, really motivated because they had already tried to do the project, and a construction worker or the person that they hired to renovate the house kind of messed them up, meaning scammed them. They didn't do the work properly, they left, and the house was in a mess. Okay? And so they are super, super motivated because they're paying taxes and all these things. So they are just ready to, and actually they have already spoken to other investors. No investor wanted to buy this property. And so I was their only choice. I was like their savior. Okay? In this deal. All right. So basically, I come in there and I said that I can only pay about $70,000. So basically my wholesaler went and renegotiate with the seller and got the property under contract for about $62,000, and the rest happened to be his wholesale fee, which is like $7,000 that they split. Okay, and so actually it's like $8,000 altogether, the wholesale fee. So they made $8,000 as a wholesale fee. Okay, for people that bought the deal to me as wholesaler, as finder's fee. So I ended up buying the property really for about $70,000. Okay, now let's redo these numbers. Okay, and now we can also talk about whether it's still a deal or not a deal. All right, so now we put an offer for 70 and they accepted. I mean, we put an offer for 70 to the wholesaler, and the wholesaler redid his numbers and got what they want. Everybody got what they want. So now the new purchase price that I would be comfortable with is 70K. Okay. It's worth what? 280K. Okay. Now 70K minus another. Okay. Now I just told you earlier that I ended up spending about 110K into repair. So we put in 110. This is purchase. This is renovation. Reno cost. Okay. This is purchase. Okay. So what are we all in now? All in right now. Okay. You do 280 minus $70,000, what you purchase the property for, minus another 110 for renovation. Okay. And when I say 110, meaning I have the construction crew. Just a little bit breakdown here. Construction crew Only without labor is about $41,000. Okay, this is like about four guys working about every day for the next 45 days, working about every day 5 days a week for 6 times a day. So I'm paying them $41,000 just only labor. Okay, and then I've got another crew that are doing the electrical, the plumbing. Okay, electrical, the plumbing, about 13K. Okay, there's another guy. I saved some money on this because this happened to be heating as well. We ended up putting mini splits here, but if I had put in propane or anything else, it would have been another 13K. So these numbers would have been a lot more. So this would have been like maybe 125. All right. So thank God we made the right choice. The other thing we're looking here is landscaping for about 6,500. Okay. And then we have the rest. This is just what? Labor. And then we have the other rest happens to be, so we're in already about 55K here. So another 50K for appliances, a lot of different materials, sheetrock, floorings, all kinds of things, anything that you can think about in the house. So all together ended up being about 110. Okay. Now another 110, and I mean another cost that I didn't add here is hard money fees. The purchase price. Okay. Earlier we didn't even add hard money fees. We didn't even add points if you're going to use hard money. You didn't even add interest rates. So all these things, monthly increase. Okay. So you have, with all of this going, let's say we did the numbers earlier for 280K. How much are we paying the realtor so far? 280 and 5% of that. That's how we're paying the realtor 5. So you're looking about 14K. Okay. So it's still being subtracted from this. This is deal underwriting at its finest. Okay. Maybe not the best way I would put it, but so you got 280, you're minusing the purchase price, you're minusing the renovation costs, you're minusing what you're going to be paying a realtor. Okay. And remember, this 110, the numbers are here. The only thing we didn't go into one by one is the materials, a lot of materials. Okay. So with this property, we put in a new roof. I mean, not a new roof. We put in new siding. We put in, we're putting a brand new driveway. We're putting in so many things, landscaping, all kinds of things that you can think about. And so basically, now you subtract this, right? The only other thing that we haven't subtract here is another $13,000. $13,000, which is what? For points, closing cost, and all of that. Plus another, because you're gonna be spending. So right now we actually held the property for about 6 months. So we're looking at the monthly hard money fees about $1,900. I think it was 1,700, and it goes up a little bit. So 1,900 times, let's say average 5 months. So you have to add another 9,500. Let's just call it 10,000 on top of this. So you have to add basically for closing costs, hard money fees, and yes, closing costs, hard money fees, and everything else. You have to add another $23,000 on top of this to make sure that this is actually a deal. Okay, so let's redo our numbers, make sure that to see what we are doing, and then on top of that, we're gonna look at this. That was this a good fix and flip? Could we have wholesaled this property to another person? So because even as a wholesaler, if you're doing wholesaling, you have to run these numbers. Now, when I got started in wholesaling, I really did not know about the hard money fees as much. I did not know about I kind of knew about realtors, realtors fees, but a lot of the stuff I kind of really guessed how much renovation was gonna cost. And for you to know that is really talking to the investors you're gonna be talking to see how much they want to make. Okay. Anyways, let's just go through this quick so we can actually know whether this was a good fix and flip or not, and then we can actually see if we could have wholesaled it. All right. So now we're doing 280 again. We're going back to the number. Minus $70,000. Minus 110 for renovation. Minus 14K for realtor. I think I messed up here a little bit. This is a realtor. I'm gonna have to restart my numbers. This is a realtor. Okay, let me restart my numbers. 280 minus, this is a single family anyways. This is like a very small house, 2-bedroom, but it's nice for a small house. So basically we're coming to an end, by the way. So 280 minus 70K minus 110 minus $14,000 for the realtor minus another $23,000 for hard money, fees, closing points, and etc. Right? So we have a minus 23. Okay. So what are we looking at here? We are looking at, depending on, okay, if we get a higher offer than this, if we get a higher offer than this, then we are looking at making about $80,000. 80, or if you get an offer past $300,000, it will be even a better offer. Okay. But just look at this. This is like a very low offer, but we're still making about 80K. Okay. But if you really add these numbers to the niche, we're about $63,000. Okay. But guess what? I really wanted to make what? 100. Now we ended up having extra renovation. Okay. Extra renovation here. And so that brought the number from being like 75, 80 to that. But we were okay knowing that, okay, this is where the numbers may be. The other thing I could have done is wholesale this property to another investor, assign it for $80,000. That's what's called wholesaling. So I just explained to you about wholesaling. I mean, fix and flip. But then the wholesale part is very simple. Instead of going through all this risk, I could have easily gone and wholesale this property for another $10,000 and make $10,000 instead of making $60,000 to $80,000. Which one is better? It's up to you. So if you have time, some people say, okay, I just want to make my quick $10,000 wholesale fee and go. That's fine too. Or you can find an investor who is looking to make even 40K, and you could assign this to at about 90K, and then now you make 20 and they make a little less, like 50K. It's up to you. Also, you just gotta know also who are the investors Investors like me, we really, I strive to be at $75,000 and higher, because the markets tip, things change, and it could tip for good and it can tip for bad. But you want to be so consecutive. Now, as a wholesaler, you don't have too much risk in here, because I could have taken this deal and just reassign it to another investor, which I could have found somebody who was just looking to make maybe less money. One is because they would have been okay with just making $40,000-$50,000, or they may be investors that are doing the work themselves, and then they would be saving a lot more money. Instead of spending $110,000, they may spend close to like 60 to 80. So they save money, but then I assign it a little higher. So this is a fix and flip. Here, I could have just wholesale. I assign wholesaling, meaning I get it in the contract from the wholesaler, and I reassign that piece of paper to another investor who is like me. So in our business, we do both. Thank you guys for watching. If you have any questions, please comment, leave me a feedback. And if you want me to work on your deal breakdown, join me on Zoom next time. I'll be more than happy to open the Zoom so that we can actually break the deal down together, whether it's a wholesale deal or fix and flip deal. Thank you so much, guys. God bless. And don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel.